And by the time I cut the call, it was like, it's him, done.
Oh,
I can decide my life. I can make like strong decisions. Everything since then has been like very beautiful. Say like butterflies flying inside stomach, right? I literally felt it going through my diaries, like journaling. Butterflies in stomach. I wrote
yeah.
exactly same words. You can start from where you are, right from now. Your life can start anytime from now.
There, welcome to this live call. Someone reached out to me, one of the clients and workshop participants that I worked with in 2021, in fact. And she actually we just started talking about how things were, how things are going. We just got to talk about her married life and, her manifesting the love in her life. And I thought that it's a wonderful idea to, around the Valentine's week, to have a conversation with her and ask her about how she manifested love in her life. That was one of the things that was something that she discussed in the workshop. That is something that she was looking forward to. And she and I could not catch up after that because she got busy with her wedding and I got busy with my wedding and all the things that happens after, getting married and settling in. And it's kind of like the first time even I'm going to hear her story completely in full details, because she used to send me these updates on WhatsApp that I've shared. She invited me for her wedding. And that was so interesting. Within a span of, I think, 6 months or so, this happened, or in a couple of months, she met someone, things went ahead and the families clicked. In India, that's also a big thing, the families coming together and kind of blessing the couple. That also happened, and she already got married, and now she's with her love and enjoying the Valentine's Day with him. So I wanted to hear from her and understand her shifts that happened. How did she allow more love into her life and make this happen for herself? And I thought it's best to just do this live so that everyone can hear her story and you can get some nuggets from that. Something can click for you. And even if you're not looking to manifest love in your life, maybe you're looking to manifest some change in your career or change in certain areas of your life, I'm sure you'll you'll hear something that will click for you, that will be inspiring, because it's always nice to hear from someone, their story of how they manifested something. So, without further ado, I'm going to invite her to the call. Hi, Kristen, and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Hi, Akanksha. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And I know that we're talking about manifesting love. I know we're talking about someone who just got married, but I just wanted to say that, it has to be said that no one else is going to complete you. No one else is going to give you that love. So the manifestation of having someone in your life and being married to someone is just an extension of the love that you have for yourself. So now I'm going to add Swetha to the conversation. This is Swetha, everyone. I just wanted to, before I added you into it, I just wanted to introduce you and share a little bit about you.
Sure.
And I have to say that even before you joined the workshop, we've been part of several groups. You've also, I think, participated in another challenge and things like that. I've shared on Facebook,
Yeah.
30 days,
Yeah, this has
things like
been
that.
exactly from 2017, I guess, like I've been in contact with you, and we have had Abraham Hicks group, India group,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. And so you're someone who manifested amazing things before. We had several calls before, and you shared like series of things that you've manifested.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is someone who knows manifestation, who understands manifestation. So yeah, Shweta, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here and
thank
sharing your
you.
story.
Thank you so much for inviting. This is my first live. I'm kind of like little bit cautious, so it's very different for me.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, thank you for inviting me for this live, and I wish everyone a very happy Valentine's Day. And I really wish like you all would get someone you would love and live with. And it's been a great shift in my life, and it's my pleasure to share my story here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start by asking you about before any of this happened, before the workshop and all of those things, because I know you're someone who practiced also a lot of self-love. You before, like, you were wanting to manifest someone. I know when you went to the US and you were studying, and So there was, I remember you wrote a blog also over it,
Yeah,
where you were talking about loving yourself, loving your life. So can we start from there? Because this story is not just about how you met your partner, it's a self-love
exactly.
story from a long time
So
ago.
I would definitely agree with whatever you said. Like just before I joined, you were saying like love start with ourselves, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
been like from the time I came for my master's, I had been like lonely over here in the US, and my master's life is was like it was with my friends, with my roommates, but it was kind of lonely being like away from my parents, and it felt like so lonely that I was not very excited about my life. But then, like through the workshops, I guess it was 2020 or 2019 December when you scheduled a workshop, and
Yeah.
we started journaling, and you started telling us like how it can happen, setting goals, why we want those things and everything. So we started
Mm-hmm.
journaling, and from there, my life started shifting. So from my master's, I would say like I'm a completely different person. So the time I had been in India was a different person, and the time
Yeah.
over in the US was like kind of pushing me into a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So 2019 December, that workshop was a very changing one. Like it shifted me, and
Yeah.
that's when I started loving myself. I started knowing that okay, so love starts from us. So I
Hmm.
have to give that love to me so that I don't feel lonely. I enjoy myself. Like I have to be interested in myself. I have to groom. I have to be like excited in my life and
Yeah.
so much things. And I started seeing one video in Facebook where a girl does the mirror work. So if you remember,
Yeah.
I told
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
story earlier, and you as well shared the story of Louis Hayes' mirror work. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So then, by seeing that, like how she shifted in terms of like appearance, in terms of confidence, it gave me certain insights, and then I started doing that mirror work, and I could see a huge difference there as well in confidence and
Yeah.
in my appearance as well. So that's where all the self-love started.
Yeah, I think that is so important for anyone starting in this journey at any point also. I think even after you're married or you're married for 10 years or something, I think it's always important at the core and the foundation of our life or the love that we want to manifest in our life. It has to start from us. It has to start from us loving ourselves, us appreciating ourselves, us loving our own life, and us enjoying our own company also. But I think that's how it kind of lays down a really important foundation. And for those of you who don't know about the mirror work that Shweta is talking about, it's a great practice. I think introduced by Louise Hay. There's an entire book about it. It's about looking into the mirror and appreciating ourselves, loving ourselves, saying loving and kind words to ourselves. And I think you did that practice very sincerely, and you did it, and you saw a lot of changes in your life already.
Yeah. It was like if you see see me, if you had seen me before, no, it would be like I was lacking that confidence. I would say like also in decision making. But
Mhm.
after that shift, it was like I can decide my life. I can make like strong decisions, and
Mhm.
everything since then has been like very beautiful. Yeah.
That's so nice. So nice. I think that's such an important thing. Like even for me, that's such an important insight that to be able to make strong decisions. I feel like as Indian girls or Indian women are more protected, are more like other people make decisions for you, and you're supposed to be more passive and go with things. But I think to have that confidence in yourself that I can make decisions, you being living independently in the US, also doing all of that. So I think that's
Yeah.
great that you have that confidence in
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say like I have shifted a lot. That
Yeah.
turning point.
That's great. That's great. So let's talk about like I think fast forward 2 years or so. This was 2021, I think, when we did this workshop.
Yeah,
Um,
2021 July exactly.
yeah, July, I think.
Mm,
So you are in the US. You're focusing on your masters. You're focusing on your studies,
mm,
and there was this conversation like around a certain age. There's an expectation that people say, okay, maybe you should also look for someone in your life to get married and things like that. So, how was it for you within between after like this 2019 in these 2 years before the workshop? So, can you paint a picture of what was happening in your life? How were you feeling?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So it's like it started with my master's. Everything started with my master's, and it's a completely different life, as I told. And what I would say is like getting a master's degree in the US was very difficult for most of us. And I could see like few of my friends started leaving, like going back to India because it was quite challenging here. And my very first goal was to complete my master's, get a degree. So that was a very big part. So I was concentrating on my master's life. And then that's when I was in my final year of master's, and that's when my parents started about like all these arranged marriage processes. And I was like, I was not that interested in getting married that time. It was 2021. Yeah,
Yeah,
2021. Yeah, it was April, March 2021.
yeah.
And I wanted to complete my degree before getting committed in any kind of relationship. So I thought like giving time to that would be like it would affect my life. So I was
Mm-hmm.
not that much interested. And also like I had to tell about my dad. So my
Mm-hmm.
dad was like he was in stage 4 cancer. So he was diagnosed with cancer by 2017 itself. And his health was actually good by the time, by 2021, it was good. But then everyone started advising that no, it's time for you to get married. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how they were like pushing me towards arranged marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was not very sure, but then I had to agree. I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just for the sake of my parents, I was like, okay, I'll try. Let's see. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So they registered in matrimony, like we have in India, we have the matrimony
Mm-hmm.
sites, and they registered there. And my parents would filter, then my brother would filter, and then only it will
Yeah.
come to me. So it was kind of a huge filter. So before I speak, there was kind of two layers, and then I have to speak to people.
You get proposals like for
Exactly.
just for anyone who's not from India, who's probably watching it from the US, because I can see some of my friends joining from the US, that it's just wanted to say that it's common in India to have arranged marriages. Like after a certain point, parents try to look for a good match, and like we have dating apps in the US or in other countries, we also have matrimony sites in India where people who are ready to get married, they create a profile there, and it's just about getting married, and because they are ready to settle in life. And so parents are usually heavily involved in that also, and finding a good match for them because they want to basically find a good match for their kids. So yeah, so that's where you were. Your parents were
Yeah.
filtering, your brother were filtering, and then they were sending you proposals that okay, consider this person, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I had a very strong belief that through arranged marriage, like whomever I marry, no, I wouldn't able to give that full love or that 100% love. So I was very worried. It was like, okay, for the sake of my family, I said like, okay, let's see. And I was completely confused. I didn't know what to do, whom to approach also. So I just spoke to my friends who got married through arranged marriage process. And they were like, yeah, it's just normal. We just see a girl, can get married, just live with her. Nothing like love. There is no love. It's just like you just like her, get married, and then it's normal life only. So there wasn't that kind of a magic or that excitement in the people whom I spoke to. So they
Mm.
were all like living an ordinary life, I would say. I'd
Mm.
say like they felt it like kind of like usual. Yeah, we have to get married. It's like
Mm.
that in our Indian society. And then like have kids and it just goes.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that kind of approach towards life. I wanted to live with someone whom I like, with someone whom I'm very interested in and excited. Like it has to be an adventure. So that's how I always wanted it to. And so I had this strong belief that through arranged marriage, it's not going to happen. And also, I'm not going to love a person at this point of time because it's already, so I was already 28 at that time. 20, my age
Yeah.
is 28, yeah, 27, 28. I was transitioning, and it was so hard. It was all confusing. And at that point, I had to think about four things: my master's, my matrimony. I had to get a job in the US because of
Mm-hmm.
visa restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get a job, I have to go back to India,
Yeah.
and my dad's health. So
Mm.
all these four were running in my mind. And that's when I spoke to one guy. It felt like as soon as I spoke to him, in another 5 minutes, I was like, no, this is not going to happen.
The
We
first
can.
proposal? Was it
It
the
was
first
my
proposal
first
that you
proposal,
spoke?
yeah.
Okay.
Everyone were like, my parents were very interested. My brother was like, he's the one. He has all the qualities and everything. But then it didn't. I think I can absorb that energy, or like that energy was not
Mm.
feeling good.
Mm.
So within 5 minutes, I had to drop that call. And then, and then I told no, I
Yeah.
don't like this process at all.
Yeah.
But no other way. They were like, okay, let's see three or four more,
Mm.
and the next one, I guess, he was kind of okay in every aspect. It was okay. It was all everything was there, but then the magic was not there.
Yeah.
So job is good. He's looking good. He's talking good. He's humorous as I wanted. Everything is good. Family is good. Okay, but I didn't feel that magic. So
Yeah.
then I thought, okay, this is life. This is how it has to be. Then
Yeah.
I said okay, and then I said okay to my parents. And but then I told them, please hold on. I have my finals. I have to complete my masters.
Mm.
So like let's hold. After I complete my masters, let's take a decision. So that's where I stopped. But then at the same time, I was feeling too low. Okay, this is how life is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then that's when your 3 day workshop happened. And I'd say like people would think 3 days kind of very small, or what will happen in a 3 day workshop. I also had a slight thing kind of
Yeah.
like 3 days in 3 days. What is going to happen? That's how I thought.
Yeah.
But then like attending your workshops from since 4 years, or like we have been interacting in the group and hearing to the manifestation stories, right? That was a completely different zone, I would say. So it always like elated me. So I had always been excited doing those things, talking with you, talking with other people in the group. And so I wanted to get into that workshop again so that I can at least feel good through this workshop.
Yeah.
And that's when everything shifted. Like, uh, yeah. So if you can go ahead, like I remember you can tell about your 3 day workshop. Then I'll tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, I'm also so amazed at how fast everything shifted because in the workshop, again, 3 days. I mean, sometimes I think, okay, maybe 3 days is too much, or, people want smaller capsules, but it's about, I think, where someone is and what they're ready, whatever is the next step that they are ready to, shift into. So for you, it was finding a partner already. For some people, it was like getting into a certain college or some promotion. And maybe it may happen immediately or maybe it happens over time. But being in the workshop, I think being in that space and being with other people who are also interested in shifting their life and want to do something, I think that really it elevates, I think, everyone's energy. It makes everyone feel good. So I was also so surprised also that how fast everything unfolded. That was also one of the messages you shared, that this is crazy how fast everything is happening. And I did not know at where you were right before that, because that's a very, like, now that you're painting that picture that your dad's health was a priority, then finishing your masters, then deciding this thing about matrimony, and having that belief that maybe, and belief in the sense that you see around you also people say, yeah, arranged marriages, it is what it is, you just find a partner and you live with them there. This is life. Like, don't expect magic, don't expect love, and don't expect all these things. And the more you see those stories, the more you hear from those people, and it also brings us down that, yeah, probably this is how it is. I'm just being too optimistic or too hopeful. Maybe I just should be realistic. But I think that's where it's interesting to and important to change our perspective, be in a different energy, be within a different area so that we can see differently.
Mm.
So I'm also very, very like blown away now that I'm hearing your story that you almost had a match with someone where you were trying to settle with, and you're like, okay, fine, if this is what it is, then maybe I'll go with him and just wait till my masters. But then you found love through arranged marriage, and now I want to
Yeah.
hear what happened, what shifted in you, and how did you feel? Like, can you
Yeah,
please tell me?
so to tell about that 3 day workshop, the first 2 days we were concentrating on the normal health aspects, and I remember like three different topics. I don't
Yeah,
remember exactly, but
yeah, yeah,
then that actually like there my energy shifted towards kind of a well-being kind, from kind of too low or like okay to being like okay, that something can happen. And
yeah,
the third day we had, I think, one-to-one session like I had with you, and
yeah,
that's when you said like, why don't you think like this? Like, why can't you think through matrimony you would get a person? So that's also a way by which the universe can give you a person. That's the easiest way, right? So
yeah,
why can't you think like that? And then we journaled as so I had to journal like why I want that person in my life and
mm,
how I'll be feeling and what characteristics I want. So it was kind of like specific and detail oriented. So I had to write all that. And that's when I started, something in me shifted, like started believing, yeah, like what you said was right. Matrimony is the easiest way
yeah,
through which I can speak to someone, and sometimes universe sends that person through that. That's a possible way, or else through friend circle or some kind it might happen. So I had to write down all my previous manifestations, what had happened earlier. Then it was kind of 2 pages already, and then I was like, why not? So it has all happened. Then why don't I believe in this? And then in a couple of days, I started believing it strongly. Yeah, it can happen. Nothing like compared to my previous manifestations and compared to whatever happened before. This is also like a worthy aspect. Like it can happen. Let's just like leave all the thoughts and like already like my energy shifted, and I started believing that. And in another 1 or 2 weeks, I met another friend of mine who who knows astrology, who can see
yeah,
palmistry, because her family, her ancestors were kind of like astrologers and like they see horoscope. And so she is also kind of like she was in a learning stage.
mm,
For just for fun, we just saw the palmistry, and she was like, in another couple of days, you're going to meet that person. Actually, the time has already started. Like it was from July end, and that
yeah.
you would probably see that person soon, very soon. It's going to be next month or in a couple of days. So that's what she said, and I was shocked. I don't believe horoscopes actually.
Mm,
I just hear to it, but I wouldn't believe it strongly.
yeah,
I'd be like, okay, it's just certain facts. But then the way she said, all those were kind of like making me believe very strongly.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
and then the next week, like August, first week, August 7th, that's when, not August 7th. So before August 7th, it was like my parents and his parents have already spoken. And and my mom was like, please, so I saw a guy today, like they approached us, and he's kind of cute. He's an Andhra guy. Can you please talk to him once? I was like, don't irritate me. I'm already in my master's. I said you to stop, right? Why are you
yeah,
doing this? I want some peace in life. Let me concentrate on my studies. And then she was like, no, 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 just this is the last one. After this, I won't even ask you. So just talk once. That's what she said. And they arranged a video call in August by August 7th. And I fixed my mind. So even if it's a Tamil guy, it's okay. Andhra guy, how they are expecting me to agree. So there's a huge difference in language,
Yeah.
and traditions will be different. How come my mom is like this confident?
Yeah.
Then I was fixed in my mind. Okay, so I'm going to just speak for 15 or 20 minutes. I'll say no, and then I'll just move on with my exams. That's what I
Mm.
thought. I was prepared. But then when I started speaking to him, it was kind of different. It was so different. It was like I couldn't stop talking to him, and I felt so good. I felt it felt so good. I didn't want to stop talking, and then my face was something was lit up inside me. And by the time I cut the call, it was like it's him. Done.
Oh, so
It's
sweet.
him. So I was like, it was so something from inside, I would say, like it was so sure, so confident, and so excited, so much of excitement inside me. And I was damn sure, like it's him. Like I have heard of Esther Hicks' story about like
Mm.
meeting her partner. It was
Yeah.
something like kind of same. And then I was like, I called my mom. I didn't show my reactions, but then I said, it looks kind of okay. Yeah, let's try. Then she was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking? Are you sure? Is it
Yeah.
real? She didn't believe at all.
That you
Then,
agreed for
yeah,
arranged marriage. She must be
yeah, she was
surprised. Yeah.
like, should we really go forward with this? That's how she was like very, all of them were surprised. My friends were surprised. And actually, I should say about my friends as well. So by
Yeah.
this time, I was having a group of Telugu friends nearby. So like they as well like helped me to gain like more perspective towards how Andhra family would be,
Mhm.
and I loved them very much. They were too
Yeah.
sweet, each and every person. It's kind of like a 1 year back, my university didn't have so much Andhra people. But
Yeah.
by that particular month, all of the incoming people were all from Andhra. It was all full of Telugu. I was surrounded with Telugu people, and
Yeah.
I
You were
used to
just
like,
getting ready to accept more, like get
yeah,
comfortable with that, with someone from a different background, different state, different language, and then
exactly.
your husband kind of walked into your life. That yeah, that
It
was
was
setting
kind
up the
of
environment.
Yeah, it was all kind of magic. Like, how come all of last year I was here, I didn't meet any South Indians here. It was all from North India, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden it was flooding with Andhra people, and it was and they were too sweet as well. Like, I love
Yeah.
them very much. I love their characteristics and personalities.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, so it kind of normalized in me. Okay, Andhra
Hmm.
people are not very much different from us. So that
Yeah.
normalization was also
Yeah.
happening at that time.
Yeah.
And also, like I had like 8 years of friends from my India work who were from Andhra, but that also like
Yeah.
the planning. I think it was all orchestrated from long back. I guess so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we assume these things also, like these are some ways, these limiting beliefs that firstly, like someone from a different culture, different state, different language. In my case, someone from a different country, like we might not gel and it might not work and there might be so many problems. Also, another limiting belief was there that arranged marriage, you can't find love in arranged marriage. You can't find, that perfect person in an arranged marriage. But the way you're describing the first conversation that you have had with your current husband, that's like you met someone at a concert, you met someone at some group of, gathering, or you met it's like the same feeling. It doesn't matter what the setup is, it doesn't matter how that person comes into your life. It's that connection that you wanted, and that was right there. And it's not like that is another belief that you shifted that I could find love through this also,
Yeah.
and it is possible. And also with people from a different state, people from Andhra are also nice, and I can gel with them, and I do gel with them, and I like them, and it's so those are your personal beliefs that needed to shift, and I think once that happened, and then you met your partner.
Yeah, it was like from then on, it was like, when you meet that person, no? So it was as such like that. Like I have heard of all those stories, but then I didn't believe it's possible
Yeah, yeah,
because it felt so different. So I've been meeting people, a lot of people,
yeah,
especially here in ma doing masters or everywhere, but then I haven't felt this way with no other person, right? Then if I'm feeling a certain thing with this person, then I was very strong with my instincts. I had been following my instincts a lot, and I had been following whatever excited me, I had always followed it. And that's when I was like so sure he's the one. I'm going for it. And the very next day, I didn't know like how he was feeling. He was also showing that much interest, but I didn't know like did he have that what to say
yeah.
light inside him and all. And then I asked him the very next day. So we spoke on August 7th. The very next day, I just pinged him and asked him in Telugu. I saw Google translations and then asked him, do you like me? I like you. Do you like me? And he replied yes. I didn't know how to take it. He replied yes. Is it a formal yes? Did he also feel it? I was not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then there was this call with his parents. I had to speak with his parents, and then their parents were like so good, so excited. Like they were like, "She's the one. You should go and
yeah.
meet her." And the very next week, no, the next month, September, by September, he came to my place. So he was in the central zone. I was in the west zone. He had to travel from central to so just to see for like to see and confirm kind of things. And that's when it clicked for him. So over the calls, it was kind of okay. He was interested, he was excited as well. But then when he came there, it was my apartment actually. And as soon as I opened the door, he was so shocked. I can't see his reaction because he said that I looked so different from this video or photo, and I looked very different, and you look so beautiful. That's what he said. I was like, oh my God, like I can see him, his eyes were like so excitedly looking at me. And also, like, he didn't know what to do. I welcomed him and then gave him some tea, snacks. My friends were also there. And
Yeah.
then he was like very, very excited. And then after that moment, he started calling his parents and saying, like, she's the one. Fix her, she's the one. So that's how it went. But then, like, till that as well, like, my brother didn't was not sure because of language and traditional
Mhm.
differences. So, with respect to relative side as well, I was getting some opposition
Yeah.
because, like, how will she manage with a different tradition, with a different culture? But then I said like I was very confident. I know like I can lead this. I know I will be happy. I can do all of this. I can the Telugu is just a language. I can learn. And now actually my in-laws are very happy that I speak so much in Telugu. So
Oh,
my
that's so
mother-in-law
sweet.
yeah, she's very happy. Like she knows only Telugu, and I had to learn like to talk to her. I have to learn this language, and for me it was not difficult at all. For me, it was kind of like out of passion, out of interest. I started learning, and now it's all very good. So after that, it was after that first meeting, everything was set. It was like next to parents. So our parents have to interact and it has to go that way. I was like, for me, it was all fixed. For me, it was kind of a huge burden in my head.
Yeah,
Got released, like a huge thunder in my head went off. That's how I saw. And
that's so
all
sweet.
of a sudden, it felt so peaceful inside me. It was like, this is done. Okay, so
Mm.
this is done. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can concentrate on my next set of things like masters and everything. But I would say like the feeling inside us, like they would say like butterflies flying inside stomach, right? I literally felt it. I didn't know how, I don't know how to explain. I was going through my diaries, like journaling.
Yeah,
Like, I wrote
yeah.
exactly same words. Butterflies in stomach. Yeah.
God. You had written this down also in the workshop. Okay, these specific things. Also, you kind of went into the details. Okay, these I want to feel these butterflies in my stomach. I want to feel that magic. I want to have that
Yeah.
feeling that,
Yeah, exactly.
and all of those things happened. And
Mhm.
the way probably you described also your partner, maybe you saw those things also probably like in him that okay, this was there. I had written this down. I've thought about this earlier, and he's here, right here, and that's just amazing. I
Yeah,
think,
I couldn't believe that. It's like right now thinking back, no, I would say like I
yeah,
made a very right decision at the very right time. I was like, how come I felt so strongly? How could I feel that instinct very strongly? Because
yeah,
one of the thing I would say is like I had been doing meditations. So by 2021, so I started doing meditations by 2019, like from that workshop itself. So by 2021, it was more stronger. So through
yeah.
meditation, I would say like my instincts were getting like better and
Mm.
better. So whenever I followed certain instincts, it led me always like to a better life. So
Yeah,
that's how. But
that's a
this
good one.
one,
Like people,
yeah,
you kind of trusting your instincts also is a big thing. I think when you once you meditate, you start to.
mm,
I mean, it's not just that you have to meditate, but also it's like the habit of okay, this is the right thing. Everyone's saying that this is how it should be, and this is the right path that everyone's followed. But my instinct is saying this, and kind of taking that, making that a habit of trusting yourself and being courageous enough to follow that instinct. I think that's also a big thing because it leads you in unexpected ways. You find yourself having what you had wanted to manifest. And
yeah,
that's so nice that you had that kind of build up, as you're saying, since 2019. You were trusting your instincts more and you were following your instincts more and trusting your intuition also more. Okay, what should I do? This feels right, so I will follow what feels right.
yeah.
So,
That's the. But people say like see us very different. I would say like what? Why are you doing this? That's how they see. But in order to convince them, it takes a lot of effort. But if you are confident, right, no one can stop
yeah.
you. So that's what I have learned.
That is such an important point that you said. Like if you have that confidence within you in your vision, or like it can just be a little glimpse. It can just be a little feeling that no, this is possible. Maybe you don't know the path, you don't know how it can happen, but there's some like inside trust within you. Okay, no, this is what I think this will happen. I want this to happen. Then we find a way around it, and the universe also finds a way to convince people or make more Andhra people come to your college or connect to something or the other can happen. But once we are convinced, I think that's a very powerful thing. Manifestations also happen then.
Exactly. Like no one, everything will be supporting you, like kind of universe supports you. And yeah, so that was kind of magic for me. And yeah, right from there, so I still have a few more things there. So
Yeah, yeah.
what happened was like my dad was so September we met, everything happened like we were fixed like
Hmm.
this is the person. But then family has to agree, right? Because two different languages, two different traditions, they were like little concerned how this is going to happen. And by September end, actually, my dad's health was deteriorating. Like he had to undergo a surgery in the next coming month, and I was very deeply affected by it because my whole world is my dad. So I was like, kind of, I couldn't stay here. I wanted to go to India, and that's when I
Hmm.
took a semester off. So I
Hmm.
postponed my master's exam. So if my exam is next day, tomorrow is my
Hmm.
exam. I had to take a decision today. I have to call off my exam and I have to go to India. So that's a very
Okay.
big decision because, like, with respect to visa aspects and everything. But it was so strong that I have to go. I have to take this time off, at least 3 to 4 months. I wanted to go. took a semester off and then went to India, stayed with dad. And that's when, so after dad's surgery, so dad had the surgery in October. And after that, he was kind of like recovering a little bit. So that's when like his family, like his mom, dad, sister, and sister's husband, everyone came to see my dad. They said
Oh,
like they want to see, and they were like so
yeah,
caring. They came all of a sudden to see my dad, but then they like in order to see me as well, like they can see
yeah,
me,
yeah,
they can see my dad and everything.
yeah.
But the moment they saw me, they were like, let's confirm, like we can do the engagement, like kind of confirmation today only." We were
Oh,
all
nice.
shocked. We were all shocked, like, Inna, what's going on? And so
Yeah,
much surprises for us.
yeah.
And then, like, they were that much excited. As soon as they saw me, they were like so confident. This is the girl. And my in-law as well, like mother-in-law, she had prayed like 1 year back. She had, this Varalakshmi November they say. So she had prayed 1 year back. So she got me all those. They'll give all these saris and jewels to the god. So they would offer that, and then so she took that and she gave it to me, and she said, "You are the one." So
Oh, it's no
that's why.
manifestation also. Like even she probably
Yeah.
felt the butterflies in her stomach that this is the girl for my
This is
son.
the girl, exactly. I don't know how they felt it very strongly, but this she did say this thing. So there is this ancestors temple back in Andhra where before meeting me, so they went to that temple and they had to get. She was also kind of believing certain signals from how that Hindu traditions and all, right? So she was asking God about some kind of signals, and by the time they broke the coconut, so seeing a flower and coconut, they say coconut flower, right? Inside there'll be a flower, they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
So that is kind of like a very positive thing. That's kind of a magic. If you're going to do a certain good thing, and if you see that coconut flower inside, if you bake the coconut and see that coconut flower inside, it's always good. So that's a kind of
Wow.
belief they have. Everyone in Hindu traditions have.
Yeah.
So they broke two coconuts, like prayed to God, and they broke two coconuts, and they saw that flower in that coconut, and she was so excited. She just recently told me, I was not aware of it,
Oh,
but then
okay.
by the time they broke two of the coconuts, it was all both of the coconut had that flower, and that gave them the confidence that she's the girl. So
Oh,
that increased their confidence.
so
Um,
nice.
yeah, but till seeing me, she had that little concern about the language, like how I'm going to converse with her. But everything went so good. Like after seeing me, she was so excited. I would say like my mother-in-law played a big role in that, like in making a decision and being so very confident about me, and and everything went well. But marriage, I would say like marriage process by itself is like very hectic. The two
Hmm.
different traditions were like so hectic. We had
Yeah.
so we had so many arguments. We were like, will this
Okay.
marriage happen? Because traditional differences and expectations. But somehow it all happened very quickly. By November, I met their family. Their family came to our house. By March, I had my final exam. By April, I got married, and everything went so good, went so fast. And then after my marriage, if I look back, I would be like, how did this happen? How did this
Yeah.
happen this fast? Like, we both will be talking like that only. Like, so fast, and around like 6 to 8 months, everything was over. And my dad was so happy. Like, he was very satisfied and he was so happy. I was like very blessed to have him during that stage. And immediately after marriage, like on kind of 2, 3 weeks, he passed away. So we were not expecting it, but then it was kind of like huge blessing. I'd say like he was there during my marriage. So I was very happy that he could see that, he could feel that happiness,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is
To be
what.
part of the wedding, I think like it's
Yeah.
a co-creation, so to say. Everyone's desire, your desire of having love in your life, your husband's desire, husband's mom's desire, and your father's desire also to see this happen
Mhm.
in his life, to see both his daughters. I know your sister also got married earlier also.
Yeah.
And so for him to see that also, it was something that's what made it happen so quickly and so like smoothly somehow. As you're saying that it's crazy that within 6 to 8 months everything kind of fell into place, from meeting him, from convincing the parents, convincing the people who are not sure if two cultures can come together and all of that. And now you are here, you're happily married and you're living together, and
Mhm.
it's just such a beautiful story. Like it's just such a beautiful story of people coming
Exactly,
together.
like we still can't believe that we got married, and but we realized like it was a very good decision. We were like made for each other. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm having my best life, like how I had imagined, and we are so happy. And that's what I had always wanted, like that magic in life, that love in life. And I'm so blessed to have this life, I would say.
That is so beautiful. So I think Shweta, there's so many parts of the story which is so beautiful. Like I think you had that conviction. First of all, you always had self-love. You worked on yourself and you worked on believing in yourself, worked on believing that life is beautiful. And you yourself have had, oh, there's also Sushmita, someone who's just joined. I know she also wanted to manifest
Oh,
getting married to a partner who's also from a different culture.
uh-huh.
So, and here is Shweta sharing her story of
And you, you as well, you're a big game changer.
from a different country altogether.
Yeah.
It's like you feel that this is the person, and everything else is just like everything else is something that you can figure out around. Language is something you can figure out because ultimately it's about two people who love each other. It's about like even families. It's about families that love each other. People at the like countries, languages, all of those things are really superficial layers. Ultimately, it's like having the love that you have for your mother-in-law also, like that she likes you and the way you were like, it's okay, I'll learn Telugu. That's not a big problem. I have a new skill set. I'll learn a new language, and that's fine. But it's so sometimes we lose sight of that, and sometimes other people also, people who think that it would not be possible for them. So maybe relatives or friends and people like that who might say, "Oh, this is difficult. This will not work out. We don't see how this might happen." And when we attach more attention to that, we attach more like, okay, that's what they're saying. We focus more on what other people are saying instead of our own instincts, our own vision, our own love, then we naturally start feeling low. And when we shift that focus to what I feel is true, what I believe is true, what and then that kind of confidence comes, and then you attract people who help you, attract people who also feel the same way, and things happen. And I think yours is such a beautiful story that even I did not know that all these things that happened behind the scenes. I was also very surprised that within 9 months or something, or 10 months or something like that, you had found a person, you met, and you sent your wedding invitation. I wish I
Wow.
would I would have thought it also, but I'm very happy that I can now talk to you. I'm sure at your wedding I would have not been able to hear your story, but yeah, this is wonderful. So if you want to share to people who are listening in, like what would be the insights that you would want to share, that someone who's looking for love and who's wanting to manifest in their life love, especially today on Valentine's Day, people who are not with someone, um, what would you say to them?
Okay, so what I would say is that, like, first of all, you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe that there is this magic, like there is this person for you, someone is out there, and then it's not like if, since everyone is doing, it's not going to be like you also have to take the same path. Since everyone is going in a kind of like usual way, it's not like you don't you also have to believe that, and you also have to be like no, normal kind of that, like that. It's like you have to know that there is some magic in this world. You have to believe that. And first, you have to take care of yourself. Like as Sanjula said, like start loving yourself, start knowing who you are. Like I had to do like so many things to know who I am, like what level of confidence I can bring in. So bring that confidence, start loving you yourself, and then you can see like you will be attracting so many people, so many good people, like how you want to, and good friends and people gather around you, and that'll be a great shift in your life. And then start journaling. So journaling is a very good practice which I had started, and it has always like writing it down rather than thinking. When you write it down, no, it defines it. It's like okay, it makes something very specific. So write your goals and then just ask like, why do you want it? How will you feel it when you want it? And if you do all these things, no, you'll be building that confidence in yourself. I'd say like it's basically confidence in oneself, and you don't have to feel low. You don't have to be like feel guilty about something or I can't do it. Don't listen to any other people. Just believe
Yeah.
that if you get some certain intuition, go forward with it. Like if you feel
Mhm.
something deep, some thoughts deep within you, right? It's always right. Just follow that excitement, follow that intuition, and it will lead you to a better life.
That's
Yeah.
so nice. It's so beautifully said. Follow that excitement and confidence in yourself. I love that one because it just is so important to have that confidence in our own vision, in ourselves. I see that Kristen had earlier commented that I love this. It is showing that it is not just the manifestation, but the adventure, the story that surrounds the manifestation. So that's it's just beautiful to hear. Because we think that okay, you want to manifest something, okay, I'll do these practices today and it's gonna happen tomorrow. But there's a whole journey that unfolds of believing in yourself and having other people who support you, having challenges also, like you had mentioned, also there were challenges. It wasn't like it just happened, like figuring out how to between yourself also, between the two of you, that okay, no, even though we are from different cultures, we are from different traditions, different languages, we can work this out. So convincing yourself, being convinced in each other, then being able to convince other people also, or not being phased by what other people are saying and being convinced. Like there are challenges also. So every story has that. Kristen says the story is the best part.
And
Yeah.
more than that, I'd say like you don't have to start from, you don't have to look back. That's what I realized. Like you don't have to go back. You don't have to feel like what had happened. Don't look at your past. Don't look at your past at all. Just start from where you are. Yeah,
So
that was a
nice.
great key. Mm.
I think that's also so special, like to say that because we think that, okay, no, this is who I have been, this is what has defined me, my circumstances, my upbringing, whatever. But you can just like leave all of that behind and start right now, this moment, this
Yeah,
present moment is most powerful.
exactly.
It's amazing. So I want to ask the audience members if you have any question, please share on the comments. And then Shweta would, I think, be comfortable answering from her experience, from her story, things that I know I would share. But I want to say, Shweta, thank you so much for sharing this story because it's not a linear path. That's also important to know that it's not just like, okay, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to manifest this, focusing on all those things, and everything falls into place with some, like, in a short span of time. There's also like inner journey of believing, and then maybe new challenges come in, and then believing that no, I can overcome those challenges also. Like it's a very kind of a
Add-ons,
up and down
yeah,
hill
yeah,
kind of a.
exactly.
It's not like okay, you just manifest everything. If you have some, once you met your current partner, you had that feeling, yes, he's the one, and it feels. But then again, there were new challenges that you had to overcome. That okay, how do I do this? How do I make a decision? I have to take a semester break. Like that was a big decision that you had to make about all these things. So it wasn't like okay, like this happened. It's just like journey of believing more and more and more. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I'd say like the challenges are like it keep on adding on. Like So once you settle on with it, one thought, like one aspect, then the other challenge comes. It keeps
Yeah,
going on and on. That's what life is all about.
exactly.
So yeah, we don't have to stop and keep worrying about it. It's just like going on with the flow with life. That's what I realized.
Yeah. I think Sushmita is asking how you dealt with current circumstances when things are total opposite. Um, I think what you mean, Sushmita, if you want to join the conversation, you can join. But you mean that you're trying to visualize something, but the current circumstances are totally opposite to what you want to believe. Like you want to believe that there's love in my life, I can have love, but everyone around you is saying, no, no, that's not possible. And so
Yeah,
let me know
so
if that's the correct interpretation, Sushmita. Sorry, Shweta, you go ahead.
yeah, so from my aspect, I'd say like stop listening to those persons, stop listening to those people, and then you have to come into a neutral zone first. Like from
Hmm.
being so like so opposite, you have to come into a generalized view, and then start believing, like start building that faith, like this can happen. You can start writing and talking to yourself in in the mirror, and then start building those beliefs. That's what I can suggest. Mm.
Yeah, that's what the question was. Perfectly answered, right? You can't suddenly go from negative to positive. You have to come to neutral. And so often I find that even like everyone's experience, my experience also, someone says like you have this faith, you have this dream, small dream, and it's like a small spark that is there, and you share it with someone, or somehow someone else very strongly says, no, it can't happen. It's like they are blowing wind on that spark, and it becomes smaller because they are very convinced and say, no, this is not possible. No one's ever done this before. You can, all these challenges are there, this can't happen. And that kind of spark diminishes. And what we tend to do is that if someone says something negative, someone says that can't happen, we also keep running that in our mind constantly. We keep thinking about that more. We give more attention to that gust of wind than the spark that was there. And we give more, we kind of make that a bigger thing than this. So, people say, now this is difficult, and in my experience, this is bad, or all of that. So we keep running that in our mind instead of focusing on what do I want and what feels true to me. Like you said, talking to yourself and going in a general direction. If we let that become bigger and stronger, then automatically the other voices will also kind of diminish, and then you will also attract circumstances which will support your spark. Like there will always be people who might doubt it, who might not be sure, but we have to listen more to, and circumstances can be the height of negativity, but it's still about going inside and listening to that tiny spark and giving that attention and being like, no, I know there is hope, there is some hope, this can happen, I feel that I can make this happen. I feel like I have that power, I have that control in my life. So I feel like we do that often. We give attention to other things more than our own inner knowing. So yeah, I hope
Perfect.
that was helpful, Sushmita.
Also, like I have experienced like that would be a particular person or certain people whom you would be like strongly believing in, and then you have certain vision, and example, you can take mom as well. So you have certain vision, and your mom says like, no, don't do that, or but you have so much faith in her, but then you have a different vision. So I would say like rather than going with others' opinion, right? If you have that self-confidence, if you should definitely build that confidence in yourself that whatever decision I take, that will be good. Although, like one or two times, if it goes wrong, nothing matters. But self-confidence is very important. Like instead of following others' guidance, they might be wrong. You are the
Yeah.
one who is deciding your life. So I felt like some other person won't at all know your vision, won't know what you want in life. So you have to believe in yourself. Yes.
That's all right. I think you made a decision like that also. You shifted to a different part of the US. I think you shifted states. Something like that also happened at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, so that was also a major thing. So when COVID started, I went to my brother's place. So I was living with him in California. And so that was kind of like little gloomy because we had to be inside house, not meeting any people. And I was kind of having a kind of lonely time there. So after 1 year, around 8 months, I had a very strong instinct like, no, you should move to Oregon. My college is there, Oregon State University. So I had a very strong instinct like, you have to go now, you have to go there. But I didn't have kind of like my friends, everyone were like shifting here and there. So I didn't have friends at that place at that moment. And I didn't have an apartment also, like where I would go and live. I had to search for a new apartment. And everything kind of like those were kind of a manifestation again, getting a roommate. She itself contacted me saying like I have an apartment here. Do you want to live with me? And then like she was so sweet person. And then like I immediately like I didn't know her until I went and met her. Like I made a decision, then went her, trusted it, and then apartment was so beautiful, and then got a very beautiful friend circle, and it was all amazing from there. Like that decision, like go now, go to Oregon, which came from inside me. No, I think it was kind of very strong that I followed it, and it was so good.
That's so wonderful. Like someone would say that it doesn't make sense that now during COVID you're shifting and you're going somewhere else, you don't
Exactly.
have an apartment, and how will you figure this out? But something within you was so strongly saying, no, I have to be there, I have to go there, and it shifted so many things. Also, you attracted amazing people, and that again, that thing that you were saying again and again, which is such a beautiful thing that trusting yourself, having that confidence in yourself that I trust this instinct and I'm going to go with it, and beautiful things happen with that. That's so nice.
Yeah. Certain times, yeah, you have to make that decision. Like you have to take that one step. Sometimes we just leave that instinct or thought which comes in, right? But I would say like always follow your excitement. I have always followed like if something feels exciting, no, I have always followed that, and it had led to a better life, I would say.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, so I there's another question. Hi, have you manifested me in your life, Shweta, in the time in Oregon? I don't know who's Maggie. Uh, one,
I'm not sure. Maggie? Maggie, oh,
Manan.
Aditi. Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. So she's one of my like cute sister, I would say, like a blessing in my life, I would say. Like she was so cute. She's like a family to me. And I have always had this best time. So I didn't know during that period, but as soon
Yeah.
as like we both like we had to go in different ways. That's when I shifted to my brother's place. She had to shift to some other place. But I would say like I got a sister in my life. She's my like best friend.
That's
So yeah, that's also true. I manifested like I was like thinking like how will I go get friends in the US? Will they be like will they be with our wavelength? But then the roommates I got, like she was a roommate for me, like so I got Aditi and Arohi from Indore, so which is from North India, and I was like, there were no South Indians at that point of
yeah.
time. So if there was a South Indian, no, I would have made a decision going with them and living with them. But then I felt like, no, this would be good. Let's try and see. Like, I was not sure how their thoughts would be, but then I learned that they were like too sweet. I got to understand how their traditions were. I got to interact with their family, and I understood like everyone, all of the people all over the world are like so sweet and kind of like yeah, huge blessing, I would say. Like it's all magical looking right back now.
Yeah. I think it's also always nice to just look back at our manifestations because we get used to it. That is something that you also mentioned in the workshop we did. Before doing anything else, we look back at our manifestations and build that belief that there was a point where I wanted that and I didn't think it was possible and it was too difficult, but now I have it.
Mm.
And it kind of builds that belief in ourselves that, okay, this new challenge that I have or new desire that I have, why can't I have that? Because I've done this before. So it's nice to reflect on your own story and just think, oh, wow, this is a magical story. And I think it's a beautiful story that you're sharing with us and the things that you've manifested, Shweta. So thank you so much for like taking out the time and sharing it here. And I also wanted to say that with this, I also wanted to announce that I am going to do a 2 day workshop. Now, this time 2 days, like even shorter, like you were saying 3 days, magic can happen in 2 days. I'm going to do a weekend workshop next week, I think on 25th and 26th. Yeah, 25th and 26th is the Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to do a similar workshop that Shweta was also a part of. And the whole point would be about being in charge in our lives and getting clear on our visions and what is it that we desire and why do we desire it and why do we want it. And especially one of the participants, actually, Shweta, she reached out to me, a wonderful client and participant. She reached out to me on Instagram, on WhatsApp, even on SMS and email. And she's like, Sanjula, when are you doing your next workshop? We need that workshop. And I was like,
Even
okay.
me, I was waiting for that. Like there are like certain parts of life where I have to fix certain things, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, when Sanchla will be conducting this workshop? So that's why I was like going through your stories, through your
Yeah.
pages and all. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
so glad that you're organizing this.
so
And
yeah, I'm
thank you
also
so much for inviting. This is as well a huge blessing to come here and tell my story, so that at least one person can get inspired here. And I'm very lucky for this opportunity, Sanjida. Thank you.
of course, I'm always happy when you're in the workshop or you and I are interacting in some way or the other. You have such an amazing insight in life and yourself and manifesting things. So it's just a beautiful thing that you were part of the workshop and you've manifested amazing things. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you for everyone who is here on the live, who watched it at any point or might be watching the recording later. I want to invite everyone who's here or whoever wants to participate in the workshop that I'll be doing next weekend. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be fun and amazing. And you never know, you might manifest the partner within a few months and getting married in, I don't know, 10 months or so. Anything can happen. Amazing things happen there. So, yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shweta.
Thank you
So,
all.
Shweta,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, then. Bye, Shweta. I'm going
Yeah.
to figure
Bye,
out how to
Sanjida.
close.
Sure.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Shweta.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.